All right, a very quick one, guys. So let's quickly look into this U.S. and Venezuela ongoing crisis. You know, some couple of hours ago, the U.S. President Donald Trump made announcements that the U.S. Special Force has launched multiples of airstrike into Venezuela capital, and by so doing, they've captured the Venezuela president Nicolas Maduro alongside his wife, and on their way taken to New York, where he's going to serve his jail time, face his conviction, and serve his jail time. Now, since after Trump made this announcement, there has been positive and negative reactions across leaders, across the world. I've seen videos of like Venezuela people, who are rejoicing in Venezuela, that Trump has done them a favor and all that. I've seen quite a number of people reacting both on mainstream media and on social media. Now, the question is, do US as a nation has the right to invade a sovereign country like Venezuela? Okay, the answer is no. But before we go into that, I'm not a lawyer. I'm not an international lawyer. I don't even know laws, but I make my research. And it's as a result of my research, I'm reacting to this topic. Now, let me quickly give you a background of um, Nicolas Maduro. Who is Maduro? Now, Maduro became a president in 2013 as a president of Venezuela. Before he rose to become a president, he was a former foreign minister under Hugo Chavez, the former president of Venezuela that has passed. He died, the man died. So after his death, Nicolas Maduro rose to become a president. He contested to become a president. Before that, Nicolas Maduro used to be a bus driver and a union leader before he joined the Chavez, what they consider as Chavez socialist movement. You understand, as a supporter of that president. You understand, and he has a lot of influence when it comes to bad boys. Okay, he has influence because he's a union leader, he's a bus driver, so he's a gangster, he's a non-gangster. Now, moving forward, since he became a president, there has been so many allegations, so many allegations. You talked about allegations on severe economic collapse. You talked about humanitarian crisis. He has been accused of. You talked about election. Accusations of election fraud in Venezuela, which actually happened some years ago, when he recontested as a president, and there were rumors and allegations that he actually lost the election, but he forced himself back as a president. And as a result of that, many um, leaders of countries or leaders of nations choose not to recognize his legitimacy as a president of um, Venezuela, even to date. Understand? Now, there were a lot of allegations of political crackdown on his opposition, like they do in Africa. Political crackdown, jailing his oppositions, killing unaliving his oppositions. Venezuela citizens who speak up against him or who are not in support of his governance. Jailing them and all. So he's seen by many as a dictator. Okay, along the line, there were also allegations that outside Venezuela recognized police and army by their constitution, Nicolas Maduro has his own army and he has his own police force. These are what was considered as his drug boys, the boys that usually do dirty work for him. You understand? Now there are allegations that he has ties with criminal network, cut across Mexico, cut across, all these countries, cut across I think Argentina, I think Cuba and the rest of them, you know, Brazil, yeah, Brazil as well. So why did the US declare him wanted? Why did the US declare him wanted? It's as a result of criminal indictment. Criminal indictment. The US government indicted Maduro in the US federal courts, South District of New York, on multiple criminal charges, which include narco-terrorism conspiracy, cocaine importation and drug trafficking, weapons and conspiracy charges. This indictment was originally filed in 2020 and has remained active under successive US administration. Don't forget that sometime last year, the Trump administration placed on what is considered to be the highest bond that has been placed on a head of any sitting world leader, $50 million for anyone that could give information that will lead to the arrest and conviction of Maduro. Now, alongside, there were also allegations that Maduro runs a cartel group. He runs a cartel group, a drug trafficking organization alleged to coordinate narcotic flows into the US and work with transactional criminal groups across the world. There were allegations that he sponsor, terrorism and all. Now, looking at it politically, the US said it's as a result of political and security reasons they want to get in. Now, beyond criminal charges, the Trump administration has described Maduro's government as a threat to US national security due to, due to drug flows and instability. Don't forget that I made mention before that the US did not recognize his government. Now, the US also accused him for responsible for economic collapse and human rights abuses in Venezuela, like I said before. Now, let us look at the rights that the America has. Everything I mentioned before were the reasons why America declared him wanted and went after him. Now, let us look at the America rights, if they actually have rights. If Trump has rights to go after a legitimately elected or a sovereign nation, a president of a sovereign nation. You understand? Now, is Venezuela a sovereign nation? Yes, Venezuela is a sovereign nation. Under international law, Venezuela is recognized as a sovereign nation. Is Venezuela is a recognized independent state. It has defined territories. It has permanent population, its own government, the legal right to manage its own internal affairs. Even countries that do not recognize Nicolas Maduro as a legitimate president, like the US, still recognize Venezuela as a sovereign nation. Okay, let's go ahead. Does the US or Donald Trump have the legitimate right to invade Venezuela under international law? The answer is no. According to UN chapter Article 2/4, international law on sovereignty, a country cannot legally invade another sovereign nation except under very limited conditions. The only recognized exemptions are self-defense. That is, if Venezuela go first to bomb America, America government, Donald Trump government has rights to hit back. You understand? You understand what that means? Now, if Venezuela directly attack the US, this did Venezuela directly attack the US first? This did not happen. Now, under UN Security Council authorization, America did not get UN Security Council um, authorization to go and attack Venezuela, to strike on Venezuela as a sovereign nation and arrest Venezuela sitting president, whether you like him or not, whether he's a criminal or not. The US government under Donald Trump did not follow this due process. Okay, no such approval exists anywhere. America did not have the power. Okay, in conclusion, legally speaking, by those who understand international law and those who know laws, a unitarian US military invasion to arrest a sitting president violates international law. And do you know that before US can actually take that step, there's supposed to be a vote from the Congress, from the US Congress, whether Trump should take that move or not. Trump did not follow these procedures. Okay, someone may argue and say, okay, the US government has indicted him. The US government has criminal charges against him. So therefore, it is right as a gangster, as a drug trafficker, as a drug lord, call him anything, as a sponsor of terrorists, for Nicolas Maduro to be flown into US, for US to invade Venezuela and capture him and take him to US, for him to face his conviction and serve his jail. That's just you reacting emotionally. Under the law, under the international law, the US has no power. The US has no power. You know one thing about law? Law is not um, um, approached by emotion or by feelings. You have to follow due process. So, like I said before, you cannot claim you are fighting, you want to fight a crime, committing crime. You don't use crime to commit crime. What Donald Trump has just done is to commit crime with crime. Yes, that is what he has just done. The US does not. The US criminal charges do not override another country's sovereignty by the law, by the international law. The US criminal charges do not override another country's sovereignty. Donald Trump don't have the right. But you see, there are many novices on social media who are singing praises and rejoicing that Trump is the president of the world. What Trump just did now, he has just sent a signal that China can actually go after Taiwan and capture Taiwan. He has just sent a signal that North Korea can actually go into South Korea and capture South Korea. He has just sent a signal that Russia can now boldly come out, go into Ukraine and capture Ukraine, capture the president and take him to Russia. That is just what Trump has just, that is what the example Trump has just set now. And this is why I feel so sorry for nations, for all these corrupt leaders, all these weak leaders, all these looters and criminals who cannot develop their nations and strengthen their military power, especially Africa, that they have seen us as third world countries. We're in problem, we're in trouble. Trump can just wake up now, invade any country in Africa, capture your president, and carry him to America to serve jail. Even though we know we have very irresponsible leaders in Africa, criminals who are not ready to develop Africa, they are not ready to develop countries that they are leading. They rather steal, embezzle, and loot the money for themselves and themselves alone and among their friends. It should be a sign for you all that while you are stealing, you need to put that money in your country. Many see this thing that just happened to to Venezuela is as a result of weak system that this year guy, this Nicolas Maduro has put in place. With all the noise, with all the thousands of people that we see in Venezuela army parading themselves on social media. This is a sign for leaders of nations, especially these African thieves, African criminals that are leaders, to start investing on their air force, investing on their armed forces, improve technology, improve technology, improve in research. Who told you you cannot get those, what's it called? Those ammunitions that America has. This is a call for all of you. Because one day Trump will just wake up and declare he's going to take all of you. He will just capture all of you as many as he wants. And some people will be rejoicing. Am I in support of Nicolas Maduro's atrocities, if he has committed crime, if all those things that was alleged against him are true? Of course, I am not in support. I will never support a leader who is abusing his office. I will never support it. I support a dictator. I will never support a criminal as a leader. But does America has rights to invade a sovereign nation? The answer is no. So you that you are rejoicing, seeing Trump as a savior, when it happened to you, we understand. And from his statement yesterday, he said America is going to run the oil of Venezuela. America is going to run the government of Venezuela until they stabilize the country, the economy. They do this, they do that. He said he's going to bring in American oil companies that are going to sell oils to nations that are willing to buy, the likes of China, the likes of um, Russia, Iran, and the rest of them that have interest in buying Venezuela oil. And he said America will run that country until America stabilize the country, fix the economy, which will lead to election where the America will have to conduct election. So which means anybody the Trump administration, American government chooses to be the president of Venezuela is going to be. We are gradually returning into dictatorship